let's have a roll call. Honorable Dennis Meany.
Here.
Marlene McTighe.
Present.
Bill Murphy.
Present.
Anton Dreslin.
Present.
Paul Nyland.
Present.
Honorable Wanda Willingham.
Present.
And it looks like we have a quorum, so first item of business would be, can we get a motion to approve the minutes of October 1st, 2025, which are included in the package?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Great. Next order would be, let's see here, Audit Committee met earlier today. Bill Murphy?
Yes, we met earlier today to review the quote letter for the 2025 audit presented by BST and Brandon Kennedy. Was the recommendation of the audit committee to recommend to the full board that we accept the engagement proposal letter of BST to move forward with the 2025 audit. That the audit will, we've been assured by Mr. Kennedy, will meet our timing requirements for filing with the authority's budget office. And so again, the committee recommends that the proposal letter be approved.
Okay, great. That came out of committee. So can we get a motion then to approve the audit engagement letter for BST?
Motion.
Can we get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great, so moved. Great, thanks, Bill. Finance Committee, Dennis?
Yes, Chairman, we met earlier, the Finance Committee, and the thing that we really looked at was the resolution to increase the management fee. What was the number that went up again?
It went from 266,000 to 333,000.
That would be going to the Alliance
Correct.
from the IDA. And it was presented to the committee, it was approved, and it would be we'd be amending the budget that we passed in October.
Correct.
To reflect that.
Yes.
We came out of committee to be recommended to the board to approve that.
Great, thank you. Can we get a motion then to approve?
I just have one question. There was also a change in the revenue line to keep the budget neutral.
Yes.
So basically zero bottom line budget. So
Correct. And
that
that's
was just additional fees that we anticipate
Yes.
into the IDA.
Correct.
Thank you.
Can we get a motion then to approve that?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great, so moved. Thanks, Dennis. CFO report.
Chair, we have a resolution as well related to, you noticed in the Finance Committee section.
Okay,
Professional.
Happy to-
management fees?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, so along with that, Dennis, we're going to modify the management agreement?
Correct.
We're going to modify the management agreement to reflect the increased dollar amount to the Alliance, and also the professional services agreement that's being amended as part of that expires at the end of this year. The amendment would allow the agreement to be extended for a term ending on December 31st, 2027.
And just a quick question on that, I'm sure I know the answer, but is the fee fixed then for 2 years? Is that the way, or you're going to come to us?
As it stands right now,
Okay.
it's fixed.
Okay. Can we get a motion then to approve
Can I
that
just
amendment?
ask a question?
Yeah.
You say it's fixed for 2 years. So the amount is for each year or for a total of 2 years? That's from
Each year.
Okay.
Each year.
I think it reflects in this, the forward, subsequent years an increase, right?
Yes, and I think that's a combined number in there.
It was the out years on the tires.
Yes.
So this is revenues. We're talking about in the expenditures. Down here,
Yes, it's
416.
Okay.
carried out.
The increase, the biggest part of both of those numbers is the Alliance fee, so it's within that.
Okay, got it. And then it continues on at 416. Okay, got it.
Where is that?
We do update this annually, Marlene, so, if something changes for 28, then in 27, we would update it accordingly.
Gotcha.
It's in this number. You see it.
Okay, we set then to make a motion then to approve the amendment then to the agreement. Can we get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great, so moved. Thank you. Okay, now CFO report. Amy?
Okay, good evening. I will start with the statement of financial position. That's on page 10 in your packets. Currently, year-to-date, September 30th, we have roughly 4.6 million cash and investments. Earlier in October, we had roughly $3 million of CDs that reached their maturity date. So as of today, I have invested $2 million in a 2-month treasury bill at a higher rate of 3.84% and 1.5 million in a 4-month treasury bill at 3.76%. This is taking the 3 million that we had and some of the additional money that we had been holding in the money market. We do have another smaller CD that's maturing at the end of this month for 500,000. So I will work with M&T to see what the rates are at that point.
What was the, you said treasuries and a CD?
We have, no, I'm sorry if I misspoke, 2 treasury bills, but I staggered them 2 months and 4 months.
Okay,
The CD that's expired.
Yes, the CD, we still have $500,000 in a CD that expires the end of this month.
So I think, if we're gonna have any cash outlays coming up, let's just think about,
Right.
maybe moving them into treasuries
Right.
or something.
What are the durations on these?
2 months and 4 months.
Great.
But no, it's a good point.
Yeah, but I did, make sure, if anything, we can, not roll over the $500,000 that we have in the CD. And
Yeah, I just don't know what longer term you guys have, projects coming up.
Yeah.
All right.
then I'll just move on to the budget versus actuals on page 12. So year-to-date, our total revenue for fees and interest is $408,000 compared to a budget of $337,000. That's $71,000 favorable. Moving down to expenses, we have actuals of $230,000 versus budgeted $343,000. So in all, our net revenues actuals are $178,000 versus a loss of $5,600.
Great. I like profits. That's good. Any questions, for Amy? Okay, can we get a motion then to approve the financials?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great. Thanks, Amy. CEO report, Kevin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone. What I'd like to do is really, there are a couple of items that I would like to discuss in executive session that have to do with real estate values, the outcome of which could negatively affect any such transactions. But there is one other update I'd like our colleague, Mr. Clayton Besh, our site development person, to discuss, and that's the status of the Altech steel site. Right?
Moving the camera.
You want to grab a seat and move over if you like.
As explained earlier, on September 8th, the county legislature passed a resolution to transfer the ownership of Altech steel site to the Albany County IDA. The IDA will be asked to pass a resolution to create an LLC to manage the liability and operational issues of managing that site with a lease-back relationship between the IDA and the LLC. When the county transfers the ownership of the Altech site to the IDA will transfer the title to the LLC and will begin its insurance coverage. While the county has agreed to wipe out all the Altech's past delinquent taxes, there is still a possible exposure to Colony Town taxes that will be issued in January 2026. I believe Chris Canada and Tom Owens are in conversations now with the county director of real property tax service to determine if the county will take on the responsibility for that tax bill as well. And we believe that will be the case. In other news, the DEC is still developing the site management plan for the site and plans to share a 30% completed version by early December. They're also waiting for the Fish and Wildlife Department to complete a wetland report that will be available in January. And the final plan of that site management plan will be to guide the safe and healthy and DEC's approved development of the site, and that's expected in the spring of 2026. With the transfer of the IDA, the site to the IDA, we have negotiated an updated liability letter with DEC to include protection from liability of any unidentified site contamination. while it is managed by both the Alliance and the IDA. And finally, McFarland Johnson, the site engineering shows, has begun data collection for the site's seeker review, the GEIS, and the master plan targeting the best use application for the site. And we've introduced McFarland Johnson to DEC to gather more data for Altec's site to continue develop the GEIS. Are there any questions?
The only thing I would add to that, Clayton, that's a great summary. With respect to the one remaining payment that will be in January that would be due, the question for the board is, and maybe this is more of a political question, whether or not we want something in writing from the county saying that they will make that payment.
Yeah, I spoke to the deputy county executive today, Mike McLaughlin, and confirmed that the county will take care of that. There'll be no additional tax liability to the IDA. You know, as you all know, statutorily, the IDA is tax exempt from property tax. But if, you know, as Chris points out, if there's an already accrued tax liability, it has to be dealt with. But the county is going to be doing that. And, Mike McLaughlin is somewhat of an expert on these tax foreclosures and property tax dispositions.
Just wanted to raise it.
So, you know, just one final thing, you know, all of this, you know, and I know this is a lot, is to get the Altec Steel site as what's called a shovel-ready site. For example, what we had out at Vista Technology Park, you know, we were able to get plug power into the ground and up and running within 9 or 10 months. You know, so what the consultants with McFarland Johnson do is they do a kind of a secret, you know, an environmental review of the most intensive use of the site and go through all the mitigation that has to be, you know, traffic, environmental, archaeological, and everything else. And at the end of which, and this is going to take some time, what do you think? Another year maybe?
Yes.
You know, but at the end of this, we will have a site that has an abundance of power. National Grid just confirmed that it's up to 60 megawatts of power, which is very unusual. That's got water, rail, sewer, and will be fully permitted. So all somebody would have to do is go in, pull your site plan, you know, go into the park, pull site plan approval, and they're ready to go. And this is what we have to have in our county if we're going to get some of these large, you know, high-paying manufacturing operations coming here. So, you know, as you know, we're paying for all of this, ironically, out of the Altec Trust Fund monies. They set aside $1 million for this, so any of the expenses that are incurred are reimbursed by the trust fund. And you know, we're hopeful that this is going to be one of the best sites in Albany County.
Do you have an idea about what the investment's going to be and when it all is said and done?
Well, one of the big unknowns is the cost of the upgrade, the cost of the substation that would be required to take advantage of all that power.
And you know, these substations can be customer-owned or utility-owned substations. You know, if we got a big user there who would factor it into the, you know, the price of their facility, you know, then we could have a customer, you know, like Wholesome has got a customer-owned substation. This is the cement plant down in Queens that Marlene is familiar with. But very oftentimes they're utility-owned. But, you know, these could be $5-10 million, you know, and very long lead times for the equipment. So.
There's another name change, by the way. It's now Amorite.
Yeah, that's right. I saw that. Right. So any other questions about the Altec Steel site?
Not a question, but maybe an ask. As the project gains wheels, you know, maybe the consultants and engineers somewhere down, maybe can come in and, you know, give a little update from their perspective as to, you know, what's going on to the board, and the board might have questions, you know, directly. I think that may be a good idea, so everyone's in the loop. And there's no strict cadence, but
It's a good time now because, you know, we're just dealing with that, you know, we're really kicking this off, and, we're in the process of designating who's gonna be the lead agency for the GEIS. We're trying to make that the IDA. That's something we've got to negotiate through with the town. There's some documents going back and forth. But, there's a lot more visibility into what the process is gonna look like. So I think at the next meeting, it'd be a good time to do that. Clayton, you can, line that up.
Great.
All right, well, thanks. So just one other point, I made this earlier today you need something?
I just didn't know we have a resolution before us to create the LLC and to transfer the property from the IDA to the LLC.
Okay, I didn't see that. Okay, yeah, number 6. So yeah, can we get a motion then to approve of the creation of the LLC and then to transfer the property to the LLC?
No motion.
Can we get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great, so moved. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So one other thing, as you all know, County Executive had an announcement earlier this week where he announced the University of Albany is going to be purchasing buildings at St. Rose. The activity is really kind of taking a little bit of an uptick. And I think we're going to have both for-profit and non-profit users that are looking to relocate onto the campus, and several of which have inquired to us as to, are there any, financial incentives? So I think that this is an example that a place where the IDA and the CRC might get active and help facilitate some of these transactions, in furtherance of paying off the $40 million in debt that the county is guaranteed for the Albany County Pine Hills Land Authority. The final report from the consultants on the redevelopment of the campus will be presented to the authority board at their November 18th board meeting, at which they will also be deliberating on the sale of 5 buildings to the county for various county uses. So there's really some, in my opinion, development momentum built up here. There have been some people who've questioned whether it's right for the county to do this. But in my personal opinion, thank God the county stepped in and bought these buildings. There is nothing worse for, as many of you know, for the decay and deterioration of buildings as being empty. They deteriorate at a quicker rate than occupied buildings do. And simple things, using the faucets, flushing the toilets, putting the heat on, putting the air conditioning on. Those stop certain types of decay from happening. And I think the county stepped up at the time. And, it's in my experience that investment capital likes to go in with other investment capital. And the county has invested $6 million in the purchase of these 5 buildings. And I think that provides some comfort and creates this momentum. And we've since seen that, and not the least of which is the purchase of Centennial Hall to the University of Albany for $12 million. So just those 2 transactions will reduce the debt by over $18 million. So I think there's a real opportunity to pay this money back, and there's some real interest. And one item in particular I'd like to discuss with the board and executive committee today, just to kind of familiarize you that this is going on. So that includes my
I have a question. Is on-ramps still happening on the campus?
Marlene, I don't know the answer to that. Marlene asked the question about the state's training initiative and location that they've awarded to several communities in upstate New York. Capital Region being one of them. The Center for Economic Growth put in an application to the Empire State Development. They were selected. Governor Hochul announced it at the College of St. Rose, and now we're waiting to see what happened with this. So there was some controversy as to where this is going to be. It's a pretty sizable development. It's $20 million in capital funding and an additional $20 million in operating support. And apparently there's some similar facilities, and one in particular out in Buffalo, New York, that's been very effective as, doing a kind of universal training initiative to, provide adequate workforce for the companies that, semiconductor industry, pharmaceutical, the industries that we see moving into upstate New York and the like.
I feel like there's been radio silence on that. Is it just me?
No, it's not. I think there's been, I don't know if I used the word distraction, but that other one doesn't come to mind. But, the governor is doing her downtown study, which is a mile radius from, I think the state capitol. The College of St. Rose campus is not in that radius. So I think that's kind of distracted people a little bit, but, we'll see what happens. Personally, I don't know. I think even without the on-ramp, I think we're going to do well on those properties that are redevelopable. And I think there are certain properties on the campus that are not redevelopable. They are past their useful life. They were never built as very significant buildings to begin with. Just buildings that have not, I think it would cost more to redevelop those buildings than it would be to knock them down and build something else in its place. And, demolition is not something that is very popular amongst neighbors and certain segments, certainly the historic preservation folks. But I think what the compelling argument is, you only knock something down as if you've got something better to put in its place. And it's got to be something that the community supports. And, as you may know, we've held 3 public hearings. The last one completed last week, which we were turning out, 150, 200, 300 people a meeting. So there's real interest. And I think the public hearings were wildly successful. We got people who were active, giving ideas. Nobody was, disruptive or unconstructive in this. So I think the process worked out pretty well, and the final report again will be released on November 18th, assuming that the board approves it. So interesting times, but I do think there's going to be some uptick in activity for the IDA and the CRC as a result of the St. Rose redevelopment and some other things going on.
Council, do we need to make a motion to go into executive
We do,
session?
Chair. We do.
Okay, can we get a motion then to go into executive session? Can we get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are now in executive session. Can we,
You guys can stay if you want. You can also leave too.
Checking my